Welcome to the Condo Pod, brought to you by the Canadian Condominium Institute, Eastern Ontario Chapter. This is your go-to space for all things condo in Eastern Ontario. From governance and legal updates to maintenance, management, and community living, we're diving into the topics that matter most to condo owners, directors, and professionals across our region. Let's dive in. Hey again, everybody. It's Mike Lewicki here with CCI Eastern Ontario for the Condo Pod. And I'm excited today that we have a fantastic guest, one that many people in the condo industry, actually across Canada, will recognize, but definitely our Ontario folks, is Andrée Ball with Keller Engineering, Vice President of Corporate Services. Welcome, Andrée.
Thanks, Mike.
So I've known Andrée, man, I've known you since I got into CCI, which was 2012.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
So I guess in the condo world, I'm still a newbie because we were talking, how many years have you been in the condominium industry?
I've been in the industry for 24 years.
And it feels like yesterday, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I can't believe it's been 24 years. Now, I haven't been like part of CCI for those 24 years, but as far as the condominium industry, yes, it's been since 2002.
One thing we talk about often in the industry is we talk about where people are in their current roles, but we don't talk about how people get into the industry, how people kind of move to the industry, because there's a lot of movement because it's all like-minded people. We're really knowledgeable in the business. So for a lot of people, they know you in your current role. They know you that you're on CCI, and we'll talk about your volunteerism at the national level of the Canadian Condominium Institute and the local chapter. But maybe you can tell us like how Andrée got into the condo world. How did that happen for you?
Well, and I think this is across the industry. Like nobody wakes up one morning and goes, "Oh my gosh, I want to be in the condo industry. I want to be a condominium manager. I want to work with condos all the time." It for most of us, it just happens by happy accident. So I was in between jobs in 2002, and a friend of mine said, "Oh, I know a little company called Axia Property Management, and they're looking for someone to help out with accounting." And I was like, well, I'll probably take it just to kind of bridge the gap between jobs where I'm trying to find something. So I interviewed, and I got hired, and I was terrible at it. I am the worst AR clerk ever. But they saw something in me. The senior team, which was Jean Lacasse, Scott Wilson, and Sean Paul at the time, saw something in me, and they asked me, well, would you like to be an executive assistant? And I think maybe that was like their, let's give her a second chance because she's not really good at this. And so I did. I became their assistant, and I really enjoyed it. And one day, Jean came to me and he said, would you like to manage properties? And I said, oh my gosh, that sounds like so much fun. And that's how it all started, just by being in the industry, learning a little bit about it, and having the support and the mentorship in the industry, what made a difference for me to start doing property management.
And now when you got into it, it was before it became a regulated profession.
Yeah.
Before the Ontario government, like many other professions, made it a licensing program. So you really in that time had to rely, like you said, on your mentors, the industry, people within it to make those connections to learn the business.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was so important. And people like I've mentioned, Jean Lacroix, Sean Paul, Scott Wilson, Jim McHugh, Debbie Wilson. These were people that shaped me, that helped me be the property manager that I eventually became to be. And it wasn't just the property management world. It was also the external community. So we're talking about Jim Davidson. At the time, there was Debbie Bellinger, and then Nancy Houle and Christy Allen, and then there was Heinz Keller when I came on. I mean, these were my introduction to the condo world. Like, these were the people that helped shape me.
And that's something we don't talk about a lot. And yes, I'm going to give, surprise, a few plugs to CCI. But one of the benefits about CCI and the organization, and I can say that when I came into it, is that it now creates a framework that as you come in, you have this immediate ability to connect with others through the CCI world. But then for yourself, and you kind of moved through that, and I believe Axia then became kind of CMG, Condominium Manager Group, for those in Ottawa. It's a small up-and-coming firm.
Then you moved, and then they kind of moved into that. And then you moved, though, from property management into the world of the engineering world, like that side of the business, the vendor supplier business.
Yeah, I got the opportunity to move, take everything that I'd learned, all the great qualities that I have, and I got to bring that over to Keller Engineering that provides services for condominiums. That's where we know condos. And so I knew a lot of people in the industry. I knew a lot of the clients that we'd been working with. And so it made it, I think, integral to the growth that we are seeing within Keller right now. So Justin Tudor and Matt Michalik gave me that opportunity to join the team, and that was 10 years ago. And I love what I do. Love the job. Love the people.
And it's interesting because we talk about there's a three side, so to speak, to the condo world. There's the directors, the condo people live, eat, and breathe in that, and that live that community. And then you've got the condominium management, like that structure. But then you have the vendors and suppliers, which is between the two. And you've crossed that bridge, so to speak. You started on one side and you kind of flipped to the other. So, and this is a dynamic I've always found interesting because, and I know it's you're passionate about, it's about the people. And these are some questions that I've always had, so we're going to put it out there. If you could give one piece of advice to a brand new director, they're excited, they've taken the required courses from the CEO, what would be a piece of advice for you for a new director when they're looking at talking to contractors, vendors, third-party suppliers? What is something for them? They're brand new to it, they just moved in, they just got elected to the board.
So education is going to be key. So brand new, you need to know the ins and outs of condo. And when I say ins and outs, you don't need to know every single detail, but you do need to also rely on your experts. So rely on your lawyers, rely on the engineers, rely on the auditors, rely on your property manager. Property manager that works so hard, so tirelessly hard for you as a condo board to make sure that your home is protected and is run well. Rely on them, but also don't just go in it blindly. Like, you have to make sure that you educate yourself on what a condo is and how to best serve your entire community. So it's not just about you, the 5 or 3 or 7 board members that are sitting there making the decisions. You have to also think about your entire community and how these decisions are going to impact them.
And that's a great point, because they go to these meetings usually about an hour, once a month, depending on the condo's, size and design. And then they got to review these documents, review the vendors, and they're depending on the condo manager, which is critical and key. They play a very key role to this. On the flip side, what is a piece of advice you could give to a vendor or a supplier when they're sending an RFP, request for proposal, or they're meeting a condo board to present something, whatever kind of vendor it is?
Yeah.
What's a piece of advice you could give them?
So it's not just about coming in with a flashy proposal or the lowest price. I found that throughout the years, what's really helped shape our connections with our clients across Ontario, even across Canada, is building that relationship. You have to take the time to get to know the industry, one. So as a vendor, you need to understand some of the regulations that are governing the condos. And you have to understand the people that are living in these communities. It's not like taking a commercial space, for instance, and here's your price, roll with it, get it done. It's so much more than that. It's people's homes, it's people's livelihood, like what they care about the most. And so you need to take the time to actually build those connections. And it's building connections with other vendors. It's building connections with management companies, and then also building connections with board of directors. And I think the key piece to that is, I mean, you and I have done umpteen conferences, but it's getting out there, going to the conferences, meeting all of the people. So it's more than just a proposal that's sent out to you. It's also building that relationship.
And that's true. I mean, condominiums are, I like to say, their own little personalities. Each condominium corporation,
they're all different,
is their own personality, right? And if you don't get to know the people, then like you said, you're just sending a proposal, or the board's not even giving consideration because they don't understand the other side. They don't understand the experience of the vendor or the team or whichever.
And it might take more time to build that relationship, but in the long run, it's going to pay off.
Absolutely. And as we know, the condo world is quite small when it comes to who people know and trust.
Yeah.
There's
you're
a
right.
lot in this industry, and people are passionate. And I'm going to do this once again, make another
So
shot. It's like Star
passionate.
Trek. I say this every single
You
podcast.
said no Star Trek.
I say this on every single podcast because it's like Star Trek. People look at Star Trek and go, I don't get it. But when you're in it, you love it and you get it. Condos is the same thing. People go to these conferences, and I brought newbies to our conferences, and they go, what the am I
You
walking
get
into?
addicted. Like,
And then they get hooked. They have that one interaction. They go, I'm in. I'm like, ha, got you. By the way, here's your membership card. Fill it out.
yeah.
But in that vein, so you've come through as starting, in the condominium management, pre-registration, worked your way through. You've seen the changes in the industry. And I know that you work across Canada, but we'll talk about Ontario. What are some of the changes that you've seen have been better for the industry since you've been in it? If you could pick one or two, you said, yeah, those, I see they've made a positive difference, and I can see the why it happened.
I'd have to say that regulating management is a positive thing. I do. Coming from where I did, where it was all learning from mentors, which was great.
Yeah.
But now I think the education coupled with mentorship is important for the community. It's important for the condominium managers. It's important for the legacy that we're building for future condos and building up the leaders that are going to be managing these condos that are going to be around for a very, very long time. I'm going to hesitate on saying forever, but a very, very long time. So I think education is the key piece. But I think what's happening too now is that the demands on condominium managers has probably increased exponentially from when I was a condominium manager. And it's putting a strain on them. And if it's putting a strain on our condominium managers, it's also putting a strain on the external people that are working with your community. So if you're talking about like the engineers and the lawyers and the auditors and the real estate agents and your boards and the owners, like it's putting a strain on every single one of these pieces. So I want to say that to work harmoniously it's going to take a little bit of a shift. Condominium managers are going to have to receive more respect for what they do. And also that's going to have the trickle down effect to other people who are providing services to these communities, to these condos across Ontario and across the country.
So for those who may not know, the reason I'm smirking and smiling is CCI, Eastern Ontario, we have a board of directors, and Andrée and a few others would be known as the diplomatic division. So Andrée is being very diplomatic. And for those who don't know me, hi, I'm Mike. I'm the diplomatic one. So I will, just on that note, I'm going to stick with that topic for a moment. Andrée alludes that there's a lot of strain on the condo managers. And she's very diplomatic about how they deserve more respect. And she's absolutely correct. I'm going to say this, and if you don't mind, we'll kind of stick with this topic for a moment. I'm going to look at that camera and put this out to the entire industry. They don't just deserve the respect because they are not there to be your assistant to pick up your dry cleaning. They're not there to run around at your beck and call. They are professionals, very astute and well-trained in the industry, extremely knowledgeable in a multitude of things, and they're there to help care for your home. They don't just deserve the respect for what they do. They deserve the respect because they're human beings and people who put their all in to manage your single largest asset. And the way I would put it is, if you have friends in the business who are a condo manager and you heard someone at a party talking about how condo managers get talked about, would you put up with it?
Never.
I wouldn't.
Never.
So I believe they deserve the respect because the vendors and other people in the industry get a lot of respect for what they do, right? And well earned, by the way, our vendors and partners in the industry. The condo managers are the ones dealing with all of it. They're the conduit between making sure everything is done, the vendors, the condo directors, the regulatory bodies and that. So Yes, Andrée was very diplomatic about it. I'm just going to say is they deserve respect because you'd expect no less if they were a friend or family or foe. And you need to start understanding they're there for a reason, and they've chosen this as a profession.
And they're not going to stick around
Nope.
if they keep getting berated, knocked down at every opportunity that someone has. Like, we have to remember that every email, every phone call, every debated decision, every request most likely goes to a person.
One person.
Sometimes two, if they're lucky. And they need to have that respect because they end up, the condominium manager ends up being the point of contact in most cases for everyone, whether it be an owner, a board member, an industry provider, all the other professionals in the industry. Like, they become that one central point of contact. And I think it's
Everyone
important to respect
pushes
them.
it on them. And to your point, they're going to leave the industry. I mean, we can talk about this, and I don't mind because you and I have talked about it. Our board has talked about it extensively, and the condo managers, walk a line. But I'm not a condo manager, so I can absolutely say this.
I'm not one anymore, but
So
yeah.
the level of harassment that directors are getting, directors as well, that's a different podcast, so stay tuned for
Yes.
that one. But on the topic about vendors and industry, people forget they're humans. So the level of harassment a lot of condominium managers get seems to have exponentially spiked since COVID.
Yeah.
The keyboard
agree with
warriors,
you.
right?
Yeah.
But that all being said, there's a passion for the industry. It's a great industry. Going back to some of your volunteerism, right? Because this is a big thing. We're talking about, condominium managers needing support in that, and that is the world of CCI.
Right.
Right? For those who are new to this podcast, welcome. CCI stands for the Canadian Condominium Institute. We have 17 chapters across Canada. Eastern Ontario is awesome. If you're interested, check out our website. Links somewhere on this. I'm not sure where. Check them out. But I mention this because I got involved, like I said, in 2012. You've been in the business a number of years. How did you fall into the world of CCI?
Jean Lacroix. It's all his fault. That's funny.
It's usually somebody's fault how we get involved, right? It's never like, thank you. It's like, you got me involved.
So I kind of think you and I joke about this all the time, and others in the industry will have heard this. I think I got voluntold, which I am known in the industry to volunteer a lot of people to do things. And Mike's like biting his tongue right now.
Because I'm being recorded.
But Jean was, when I was new to Axia, I kept hearing about CCI. I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's a cool little neat club that he's part of.
Exactly.
And then one day he couldn't go to an event, and I believe it was the Lawyers, Guns, and Money, which was our most popular, and still is our most popular in Eastern Ontario. And funny enough, at the time, it was CCI Ottawa. It wasn't CCI
That's
Eastern
right.
Ontario.
It was. I remember we made that change.
Yeah, because we were like so much more than Ottawa. We go from Hawkesbury all the way to Belleville. So why were we called CCI
Absolutely.
Ottawa? So yeah, we changed the name to Eastern Ontario. But I digress. So I went to Lawyers, Guns, and Money, and then I got to see all these fantastic people. And I remember John Peart and
John
Jim
Peart.
Davidson were speakers at the event. And I'm like, this is really cool. And I was looking around the room, and there was lots of people who were listening and soaking in all the information that was being given by these two fantastic speakers. And then Jean that year, he was up for re-election, and he said, maybe you should run for the board. And I was like, okay, I'll run for the board. And I did, and I got on the board, and it was fantastic. I got to meet so many people. And when we're talking about mentorship, that's when it kind of opened it up even more to me, because there were so many other people that I could turn to get information, other people that were going through the same challenges that I was experiencing,
Yes.
just on different levels or at a different type of condo, but it was all relative to what I was doing. And then following that, I found out that, it wasn't just CCI Ottawa. There was CCI Toronto, and there was CCI Vancouver. Like, there was a whole community outside of my little city that was doing the same thing, that were going through the same challenges. And so, yeah, that was my introduction to CCI.
And so how many years have you been with CCI?
probably 20.
Probably, yeah. So yeah. And funny enough, that was my first event too, was Lawyers, Guns, and Money. That's how I got hooked.
Yeah.
And I bring that up because, like I said, we have chapters across Canada, the connections we made, our national conferences and all that fun stuff. But then you're also involved on the national level.
I am.
So
Yeah.
for those who don't know, Andrée sits on our board, but she's also on the executive. So we have 3 executive positions: president, which is Nancy Houle, and then we have Stacey Malcolm, who's our vice president, and we've got as well Andrée, who sits as our secretary role. So again, keeps our compliance and all that stuff together. But you don't just sit on there; you also chair some committees, and you also sit on national, or you have over the years. So how did you get to that? You're like, you know what? I have an extra free Tuesday. I guess I'll join the national level as well.
That's what. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what it
So
was.
how did you get to that next, that next stage?
I think when I had found out all that was happening within Ontario, I wanted to know more. I wanted to know, well, what's happening in Alberta? What's happening in British Columbia? And what about our Atlantic provinces? What are they doing? How can I help them? And I think that the best way for me to have gotten into that was to join national. And that's when I decided to run for the board. And so I was a director for a few years, and then I had the pleasure of being elected as the vice president, and then I moved into the presidency. And now I've been asked to come back as chair for the executive committee at CCI National for the last 2 years. And it's been rewarding, the connections I've made, the things that I have learned, and the people that I got to meet is incredible. I don't think that I could have gotten that anywhere else. So it is a really neat club. It's cool.
And it's interesting when you think about it within this CCI world. And there's a number of other organizations as well, very similar to ours out there, and we all share the same passion in the industry. But within CCI, what's interesting is you have directors who are volunteers. Just to be clear, many people think they get this great, stipend and they get these cars and all this stuff. They're volunteers. But I bring that up because they make the time out of their personal, they sacrifice either vacation time to come to the conferences, their personal time to learn. And the vendors and suppliers choose to come to spend time with their competition, right? And they sit there with their competition to make the industry better.
But I don't think in that setting that we think of it as competition.
But that's exactly
We're all
it.
there to make things better for our condo communities.
Like I'll see you guys and I'll go and get, my 80th cup of coffee at the conference, and I'll walk back in and I will see at the end, like there'll be a bunch of engineers from multiple firms sitting at a table, or condo managers or the insurance guys. They've had a really bad couple of years getting beat up. So let's shout out to our insurance people. They're awesome. But they sit there for the bigger picture. And I'm not saying it's altruistic. I'm saying is the passion is what leads everybody.
I agree with you.
The want to be involved. And you and I have talked about this off and on about the condo industry, the condo world. So this is a question that I had some pre-questions said Andrée, so of course I have my own ones on side. What is one thing, if you could talk directly to the ministry, to the CEO, talk to the minister. This Andrée loves when I do this to her. What is one thing you would love to see if you had unfettered ability to make a positive change? What is one thing you'd like to see in the industry change, either government-wise or just in general?
In general. I'm going to come back to what we were talking about earlier. It is about valuing the people who do the work. And that's it. It sounds really large and might sound impossible, but I don't think that it is. I think we focus on outcomes and deadlines and costs without enough regard for the human behind that's doing all of this. And it's the condominium manager, it's the engineer, it's the lawyer, it's the administrators that are working for this, but also the board. These boards are volunteer board positions. We need to put more value on what these people are bringing to the table to make sure that our condominium communities are thriving. I think that is the one thing. And like to think that right now, like everything is urgent.
Everything's urgent in the inbox at all times.
It's almost like it's normal, and it shouldn't be normal. And that burnout, whether it's at the volunteer level or at the condominium manager level that's normal. It's okay. It's a byproduct of the job. It's not. We need to. It's hurting our professionals. It's hurting our condominium communities, and we need to make sure that these people are valued, that we figure out ways to overcome these struggles. Because if you have a very unhappy condominium manager or you have a very unhappy condominium board, your condominium community is going to struggle.
Absolutely, they will. And it has the ripple effect. I mean, I have the joy. I sit on my association, and as my wife says, I went to one AGM and never left. I had owners knock on my door at 6 and 7 in the morning in the dead of winter because they felt that their parking lot wasn't plowed enough.
Oh, dear.
And for those who know me, don't knock on my door at 6 or 7 in the morning. You're not going to get the customer service you're expecting. But that's the point. So, like,
Your logo could be right here. Your brand could be featured in multiple episodes of The Condo Pod, reaching condo managers, board members, and industry professionals across the region. It's the perfect way to showcase your expertise and support meaningful conversations. Be part of the voice of this rapid growing community by becoming a sponsor today.
our conferences we do at CCI, which, again, for those who don't know, on her every other second Wednesday, her and Stacy, Andrée and Stacy, run some of the most epic and amazing conferences I've ever seen. And we all attend a lot.
I love conferences.
We have one in Ottawa. We have one in Kingston for Eastern Ontario. They're both fantastic. Many other conferences we attend as well. But the greatest thing I think about those, and I'm going to give you a shout out, you and Stacy, is that the sessions you have, the seminars you have, the modules you have, it's always the people, right? And just it's the same people come back every year.
And
right?
new ones, and new ones.
No, and new ones, absolutely. But I mean, some I've seen, and then the new ones are even, and they all connect. So here's an opportunity for you to kind of give a shout out to a bunch of CCI stuff we're doing. What are some things you wish people would know about that maybe drive the passion? So for you and I, it was going to Lawyers, Guns, and Money.
Right.
Right? So if somebody could say this year, what is one or two events, and they're all amazing we throw, our education committee is the bomb, they're amazing. But what are maybe one or two things you said, if they want to get a feeling for CCI in the industry, what are two things they should go to this year?
All right. Okay, well, definitely the Kingston conference. So for our Kingston community, we are going to be in Kingston on May 28th. All of the details are going to be coming out very shortly. And this conference has grown every single year because people in Kingston and surrounding areas are hearing the message. They're like, oh my gosh, I need to be at that conference. There's some fantastic vendors that are going to be there, more fantastic speakers. And you know, you get breakfast and lunch. It's
busting at the seams. I have friends now who drive in from Ottawa just to go to the Kingston conference.
I know, yeah. Which is great because it's very close.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's awesome.
I think the other one is definitely going to be the September conference. So that's
right.
Last year we had 400 delegates attend.
That's crazy.
We had over 52 exhibitors, and we keep getting asked, like, when's registration opening? So that's definitely one to attend. And then I think also I have a fun one that I love, and that's the our lunch at Christmas where we do the legal panel. It's just a good one. Like I really love that one. And then all of the seminar sessions that we put on virtually are great topics. Like we had one this week actually, and it was with the City of Ottawa, where we had City of Ottawa.
One, yes.
Yeah, that one's always ever popular, and I think it's one that we're going to be bringing back every year.
We were talking about education is key in knowledge, and again, the CEO, the Condominium Authority of Ontario, has the mandate to create education for condo directors, which is great. It's fantastic. We appreciate the support. But we also have, let's give a shout out to ours. We have DCI courses, right? So maybe a quick little pitch about that.
Yeah, so the DCP courses, they dive into the nitty gritty. So I think with this CAO that the education that you get, I don't want to say it, that it's like kind of like an overview.
It's an introduction.
We dive into the nitty gritty. We'll dive into reserve fund studies. We'll dive into insurance. We're going to dive into the legal matters. We're going to help you as a board of director really know your responsibility as a board, what you need to do, points like that you have to make sure that you check off to make sure that your condominium community is running smoothly with the help of your condominium property manager
Absolutely.
and your experts.
We've been blessed with the same company we've used for years, and I've obviously taken our courses. And I like to believe it's made their job a bit easier because I'm like, nope, we understand that. I can help new board members. I can help educate them. So for those out there who are in the condo industry, they're a director or something, sign up for our courses, links on our website. If you're not sure about it, there's a likelihood that your condominium management or the condominium management company belongs to CCI. Ask them.
Absolutely.
There's some great rates out there to join us.
We offer rebates there's member rebates. So make sure you're a member. You can sign up to the DCP, which is the Director Certificate Program. I think the next one is coming up. The 4 courses are coming up in April.
Oh, yes.
So they run April and November. That's when our courses are run. So, and they're all online. Like you can do it from the comfort of your home. You don't have to go out in this frigid cold.
It's a beautiful day out here in Ottawa. It's only minus 35 with a wind chill. So then, as we've talked over the time, and like I said, I've had the pleasure of watching you speak at events and talking the board level and things like that. Where do you see kind of the industry going? Like we've seen the changes between management companies seeing an opportunity, they created that, and then different businesses, engineer firms, insurance firms have recognized over the decades that there's, I'd like to say niche, but it's a unique business out there, the condominium world.
It is.
And it's grown into this behemoth of a niche. Where do you kind of see the industry going in, say, the next 5, 10, 15 years? If you could just pick one area of it, where do you see it going more of?
Well, it's no secret that AI is out there. And
Right.
I think just everyone is more reliant on AI. It's very easy to plug something into ChatGPT or Copilot and get a formula of something that you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we have to remember is that, well, I would hope not, but like 15 years from now, your condominium property manager is not going to be a robot. It's still going to be a person. They are probably going to be using tools to help facilitate how they manage condominium properties. And we as industry professionals are going to be using that as well.
Agreed.
But at the end of the day, it's still going to be a person that's helping you navigate through all the intricacies of how you're going to manage your condominium property.
I agree. People were saying back in the day, a few people, when QuickBooks came out. So for those who do accounting and bookkeeping and that, QuickBooks itself is an accounting tool. People are like, this is going to be the death of bookkeepers, the death of accounting firms.
But it wasn't.
So I've had the same accountant for 15 years now. Bookkeepers. It just frees them up to be more proactive in managing my businesses. So I agree with you. With the AI, people need to realize that you need to connect with the people in your sphere in the condo world. And they need to make those connections. So outside of CCI, how else do people make connections in the condo world? Let's say as a new director saying, I need to interview for insurance companies. Is there a methodology? Is there a process? Should they lean on their condominium manager more? Should they look outside that?
Oh, interesting. So if I were to put on my condominium manager hat, and a board were to ask me that question, I think I would want to point them to all the resources that I have, all the connections that I have in the industry, whether it be through CCI, whether it be through CAO. Like there are quite a lot of things that are out there that can help you with making a good decision. It's not just attending conferences, it's not just attending seminars, but it's getting the education on certain companies, whatever provider you're looking for, the information is out there. You just got to dig a little bit.
Do the research.
But also do it in conjunction with the help of your condominium manager. And if you don't have professional management, there are some smaller condominium corporations that do not, but rely on associations like CCI to help you get that information. There's a wealth of knowledge and information on our website about providers that know what condominiums eat for breakfast. So they are best served to serve you and your community.
Absolutely. And to Andre's point, so there is typically within Ontario, there's 2 types. of condominiums when it comes to the management. One is contract a third-party management company or hire an in-house, sits in the building, the high rise and that, or self-managed, right? And CCI as an organization nationwide is supportive of both. We believe we are there to support directors of all types and design of their condominium. The condominium corporation, like we said, it's its own personality. They make their own independent decisions. So if you're self-managed or you're managed by a condo, reach out to us. We're happy to support you. That's what we're here for the directors, for the industry. One thing I'm going to ask you, being as you're on the vendor side now, right? What is one thing you wish that vendors did more of? We talked about the people, the relationships, but if there's one small thing they could do, what is one thing for somebody looking to break into the vendor business?
Get into the vendor business. Okay. Attend in-person events.
Okay.
The reason being is that's where you're going to meet the people. It's one thing to sit behind a computer or a laptop, draft up your proposal, and it's also like it's cookie cutter, right? But
Absolutely. They get how many of those proposals a week?
It's not always cookie cutter. It's easy for like the CRM to just pump out, oh, here's the proposal after proposal after proposal. But what about the person? What about the community that's there? What if they need something that's slightly different? What if it could be the one piece that differentiates you from another because you took the time to understand that person, understand their community, understand how things work? I think that could be the differentiator for them.
Absolutely. And just taking a look at the questions we have here. So we've gone through a number of fantastic questions. What is anything, just in general, that you've been around the business for, you're still a newbie, about 20 years in the business.
Yeah, still young.
What are some interesting, either an anecdote or something that the general public may not understand about condos? Somebody's randomly surfing Spotify. This looks like the most amazing podcast. They jump on. What is something the general public
doesn't know about condos?
Doesn't know about condos.
Often, when I first started out in the industry and I was telling people what I was doing, they're like, oh, you manage apartments? I'm like, no, I don't.
Shout out to our townhouse and stacked condos and mid-rise. We love you all.
But that's what people thought. They're like, oh, you manage apartments. You handle rent. And I'm like, no, it's so much more than that. It is making sure that the building is safe, meaning that snow has been removed, that the lawn has been cut, that the windows aren't leaking, that the roof is in good shape, that the air conditioning unit is going to be serviced and ready to go when it gets really too hot before I get all of the emails from people complaining that it's so hot in the building. It's about making sure that someone's mother in their unit knows that they can live there safely. I remember coming across a couple of situations where it was just sad. The way that people were living in their units and their sons or their daughters would call and say, can you just make sure that my mom is okay? It's about those connections. It's the barbecues every summer where they gather all the community. It's the Christmas parties that they gather into in the lobby to make sure that they know everybody and that everybody wishes everybody a great holiday season. Like, it's so much more than collecting rent.
Exactly. And that's, again, we could go down the rabbit hole of condo fees and how people think they're just arbitrary or they should be done under. And actually, to the barbecue line, just a little regulatory note there. That doesn't mean you can arbitrarily go put a barbecue on your balcony. Please check with your condominium manager and your condominium rules and regulations.
Sorry. Thanks, Mike, for that little PSA.
I'm saying that to the shots of the realtors out there who tell people to just put a barbecue on the balcony. Yes, they call me, so don't do that.
But to that, it's about learning what condos are all about. Making sure that you know what you're selling, making sure you know what you're buying. The best is when someone says, oh, I had no idea I bought a condo.
Yeah, when they get that first, you're deficient in your funds because you're not paying.
What?
Yeah, those are the fun calls. I didn't know I bought a condo.
I did know I bought a condo.
That is a whole different podcast that we'd probably not want to record because the conversation would not be recordable. So we've covered, a number of topics. How you got in the industry, how you've gone from being still a vendor, but like essentially a service provider to being a vendor offering products and services, to volunteerism, to being involved, to what managers and directors and, vendors all need. If you're able to share like a final thought, what would be your final thought to somebody listening to this and saying, okay, I love listening to Andrée. She's been in the business. She understands it, been nationwide. You have the mic.
Oh my gosh.
What's that one thing we've all talked about after the conferences wind down? We go for that after conference drink. What's the one thing, if you get one message out, what would it be? We've already talked about the people connection. What's the other one other thing out there?
The condominium manager is not the problem. The engineer didn't create the issue that you're experiencing at your building. The lawyer is not dragging their feet just for fun, and these are professionals. They're navigating complex buildings, tight regulations, limited budgets, and competing expectations, and they're all working for the condominium community all
right
together. So if we want stable buildings and we want strong communities, we have to start treating the people with support and the respect that they deserve, because condos run on people. And I think if we take care of the people that manage our condominium communities and work for them, then they're going to take care of those buildings.
Absolutely, 100% agree. And I will say this is, just because you have the time to send the email doesn't mean the receiver is sitting at their desk.
No.
And they may have the email on their phone, but surprisingly, they may be doing something else. So please don't send repeated emails same day. Understand they have a multitude of roles to manage your building, and it isn't just sitting in front of the desk. And that includes vendors and everybody else.
So true. So true. I think we should end with a funny story from me.
Yes.
And a funny story from you.
All I know is that Nancy Houle is going to be watching this going, oh, God, where is this going? But yeah, you start your story first.
Okay. This was probably my first CCI national conference. So I was very excited. I got to step outside of the little CCI Eastern Ontario hub. We were in Fredericton, and I had packed every outfit imaginable. And if any of you know me, every single pair of shoes that was in my closet, just in case.
That alone is a conversation to be had.
First morning, put on my best outfit, my best shoes, had my laptop, my notebook, my agenda ready to go. I was at CCI National. This was the conference. I was going to be elbow to elbow with all of my mentors and the people that I looked up to. I hop on the elevator, and one of my CCI mentors is in there in a fishing vest with a fishing pole and a tackle box. And I immediately go flush, going, oh my God, did I miss something on the agenda? I did not bring my fishing gear. And it was Murray Johnson.
Oh my God, Murray Johnson.
Little did I know, he was going fishing for the first session while I was going. I was panicked, so panicked. That was my very first, my very first experience at CCI National.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me if one of her sessions was going to be fishing. I mean,
we've done some fun stuff. We
went iceberg.
Yes.
That was fun. Mike on the open sea.
Fun for us, but not for you.
No, that was a joy. Never stand up going to look at icebergs on the boat, because you will turn quite gray.
Okay, what's your funny story?
So my funny story, wow, in the condo world, so many, like just as a real estate agent, just being out there and about. I've gone to show condos, and many people will know there's the lock boxes on the condominiums, right? So there's a lockbox bar, whatever it is. So you go to do the lock boxes, and any realtor out there knows where this story is coming. So I like to be an overachiever. So I booked, I think it was 8 or 9 showings in one condominium building. There was a number of condos for sale in one building.
Okay. You were just going to do the tour.
Yeah, and client, we're down there, let's tour all the units in the building. So I grabbed all the keys, got them all, did my thing, came back down and realized I hadn't properly tracked which key came from one lockbox.
Oh my gosh, Mike.
Now, for those who know real estate agents, we're not big on waiting for things. So I have other agents waiting to get in the condos, and I had to go back and figure out each lockbox. And I was downtown, I was wrongly parked, and I got tickets, and my client wanted to, anyway.
You deserve it. You deserve the ticket.
So I completely was that atypical realtor that you guys hate. That was me. Now, this was, in my defense, was before CCI.
Okay.
But it was, and then there was like, the janitorial staff was there watching me. What am I doing? And I'm pretty sure somebody called the condo manager that
Who is this guy?
And I was, thank God I didn't wrap my car. Well, only had business cards in my pocket. But it made me realize, the anecdote does serve a purpose, is that I really thought it was like any other showing as a realtor.
Right.
I get a few keys, I'll bring them back. And I think it was like 6 or 8 showings I was doing in that building. And I realized that I wasn't truly prepared to show them and didn't understand. So after that, every agent I trained, I'm like, you need to carry some baggage. You need to have little key locks. You need to write down, take a picture. Like I had a whole process after.
You learned.
I learned. And then from a quick CCI story, and this goes back to you and our entire board we've had, is I attended my first national conference, which is called the NLF, the National Leadership Forum. And I didn't know what it was. I knew it was a conference. We've all been to them, good food, coffee, and meetings. And I remember walking in there, and this is my secret at conferences. I love LinkedIn. So I will look at people, figure out what company they work in, and I'll start going through the LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I'm a pretty confident guy. I'm sitting at the tables, looking at my tables I'm sitting at, and I start looking at names. And these are like executives and vice presidents and owners of like insurance, like national. And I'm sitting there like, what do you do? I'm like, well, I'm a director on the local chapter. And I'm like, and I'm looking at this, and it really was a humbling moment to sit in that room and see industry titans with directors sharing a cup of coffee. It was a very humbling experience for me. Like that just me was like that. Again, it's like you go to conference, you don't know till you don't go. It was a fan. I came away from that conference. I was like, wow, this is like the connections there were amazing.
Yeah. And you're sitting there, and there are multiple engineering firms represented.
Oh.
There are multiple law firms represented. There are multiple property management companies that are represented. But we're all coming together with the same goal.
Yeah.
Making sure that our condo communities across Canada are well served and protected.
And obviously I live in Ontario, so do you. But the amount of random CCI people I've found through the country is the most craziest thing.
We have connections across the country now.
So that was it. That was the humbling experience. Just being in that room and saying, wow, all these people are here, and I'm just showing up for the coffee and the muffins, definitely not the salad. But yeah, no, it's been a great time. And Andrée, thank you so much. I know you have a very packed schedule, both between the volunteerism and obviously your day job and things. So thank you so much for taking the time to come on the podcast today. It means a lot to us.
Thanks, Mike.
For everybody, again, thanks for tuning in to the Condo Pod, which we believe, based on surveys we've done, that this is the #1 condominium podcast internationally. Now, that is based upon the survey results of my mother and my daughter and my wife, but those results were fantastic.
They're the best.
Tune in to the best condo pod in the world, frankly. If you want to know more about Andrée's involvement, reach out to her on LinkedIn. Check out our website, CCI Eastern Ontario. Check out the podcast. Subscribe to the link on all your top podcast channels. That's not really my forte, but they're out there on our website. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for viewing. We really appreciate your time. And Andrée, again, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for tuning into the Condo Pod, your source for all things condo in Eastern Ontario. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share this podcast with your fellow condo community. For more resources and upcoming events, visit us at ccieasternontario.ca. Until next time, stay informed, stay connected, and keep your community strong.